All right, welcome back. Now, on this channel, over the years, I've made a lot of statements, some controversial. I've had people disagree with many things that I've said. Probably this statement that most people disagree with is when I say that Kiesha created the slums and ghettos. I blame the hoods, the slums, the ghettos here in the United States. I blame them. Well, I blame the mentality, the dysfunction that you see there on Kiesha. Because you got to understand, on a collective level, they did not find themselves as single mothers. Like, it didn't happen. It never happens outside of their will. They single-handedly decide to be a single mother, to take on all the responsibilities. And the knowledge of this changes history. History tried to record the idea that it was black men who were so degenerate and subhuman that when we found out that we had a baby on the way, we ran away, disappeared, and just avoided not only taking care of our kids, but avoided having a relationship with them. That has always been put on us. Nobody else. Kiesha has been taken off the hook 100% all throughout the 80s, all throughout the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s. But it's over now. The whole world knows it's over now. Why is it over now? Because we put a stop to it. Black men put a stop to it. Nobody else. In the face of Oprah, all these other talk shows and media outlets trying their best to push this lie on us, to demonize our image, was false from the very beginning. And right now is the day of judgment for Kiesha. All the vile and evil lies that they tried to put on us turns out was actually true about themselves. We all have to face the day of judgment. And when you act as a group, it's even more dangerous. They act as a group against fatherhood and then turn around and blame the fathers that they refuse to allow to raise their own kids, blame them for the condition of these communities and how the kids turned out. It don't work like that. How convenient for you, of course. Ooh, I'm gonna be a single mother. If my kids turn out dysfunctional, I'll just blame the daddy. But if they turn out successful, I'll take all the blame. It don't work like that. Some people think that I contribute to the gender war. And other people who point these things out are contributing to and participating in a gender war. No, we're not. We're putting an end to the gender war. You're never contributing to a gender war when you're telling the truth. You only contribute to it when you're lying. That is what they have been doing. So they have been waging war on us, and the buck stops here. Now let's get into it. Salute everybody in the building. Kiesha created these slums. I explained that in a recent live stream. They assumed the role of parent, and they also acquired entire communities. I've mentioned before O Block, but don't get caught up with O Block, because there are many other areas of the United States just like O Block. But O Block is very identifiable, and it's famous. Now look at this article published by the Chicago Sun-Times. Residents of Chicago's most violent block don't want Trump to send the National Guard. Look at the face of O Block that Chicago Times decided to publish. That's right. The most violent block in the United States is a Kiesha, or 100% Kiesha dominated area. It's all single mothers. All of them. Parkway Gardens is for single mothers. Now I want you to listen to this.
Beginning where it all started.
So right now you in the 44, you in one of the gutters building in the block. This motherfucker be the last building to get cleaned up. Oh, it's a roach. See y'all in the project. See a roach? That's a baby roach.
That's gonna get bigger.
It's gonna get bigger. Smoking the roach and killing the rat. In the hallway and on the elevator too. I ain't gonna lie. My mom in the bathroom on BDN's, one bathroom in here. I'm going to piss in the hallway. I still won't touch the buttons on the elevator. I'm straight knuckles. My mom in the bathroom on BDN's.
That's gonna get bigger.
It's gonna get bigger. Smoking the roach and killing the rat. This bitch be dirty as hell. This building be dirty. I'm from this building. Bro, I used to be one of them motherfuckers that piss in the hallway and on the elevator too. I ain't gonna lie. My mom in the bathroom on BDN's, one bathroom in here. I'm going to piss in the hallway. I still won't touch the buttons on the elevator. I'm straight knuckles.
Cause you think there might be pee on it?
Spit, pee, and I used to do all type of shit to the elevator. I ain't taking no shit though in here. True that! True that!
Now y'all hear that? Pretty nasty, right? These are absolute slums. Roach-infested slums. Now listen to this.
What is drill music?
This is what really inspired this stream for me. How they tried to describe drill music. Listen to this.
We started the word drill with our music. Like, let's do a drill. We started that shit.
Like, how would you explain drill music to someone who doesn't know?
Now, when he say we started it, he's talking about Chicago. He's not talking about O Block.
Music that make you wanna
Doesn't know.
our music. Like, let's do a drill. We started that shit.
Like, how would you explain drill music to someone who doesn't know?
Listen to this right here.
Music that make you wanna kinda get outside and go just be outside, if you know what I'm saying? Make sense?
Y'all get that? I got pushback, a little bit of pushback from people when I said that this music that they listen to, drill music, it helps make them violent. It's gives them tremendous motivation to actually do drills.
I kind of get outside and go just be outside, if you know what I'm saying? Makes sense?
Okay? Now, I had not heard his definition of drill music before I labeled drill music as demonic witchcraft type of music, which is what it is. Very few people describe it like that. I might be the only person in the world who describes gangster rap and drill rap as just straight up demonic witchcraft. That's it. It makes you want to be violent, become violent, period. All they talk about is the dope they sell, the people they shoot, the people they unalive, They brag about it. But worst of all, what makes it so demonic is how they diss the dead. That is insane. They're already dead. And many of the most disrespected Chicago native was a 15-year-old child, Tuka, Shondell Gregory, 15 years old. And you got people in their records, F Tuka, smoking on Tuka. It's like demonic out of this world. There is no excuse for letting your kids listen to this. I don't care what nobody say. Don't tell me a father need to be around for you to not let your 6, 7, 8-year-old son listen to this. Like I said, these communities are a reflection of the values inside of individual homes. These slums, these ghettos, and the same applies to all communities. They are a reflection of the values of the people in these homes. And you have to look at the parents. And when you look at these slums, O Block is a real good example. You find nothing but single mothers basically doing the same thing. Letting their sons just raise themselves, basically be raised by the environment, by the gang-infested environment, an environment where they need maximum guidance from their parents. And that is because these Kieshas allowed it to get to that point in the first place. This careless, carefree, pedagogical approach failed. Now listen to this. They're going to elaborate on drill and what it actually is.
I kind of get outside and go just be outside, you feel what I'm saying? Make sense? You get on going. So yeah.
There you go. There you go. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, okay, talking about, oh, music don't influence you. Oh, they used to listen to slow music back in the day when they did drop. Man, beat it with that. You got these, they're telling you themselves. It make them want to become violent. And who do you think they're going to target? Their own kind. So Kiesha's raised enemies to black men. Kiesha turned black men against each other with this careless way of raising them on a collective level. That's why these gangbanging pookies out here unaliving other black men, they are just as much of an enemy as a white supremacist. Functionally. Now, none of them start out that way. That's the thing that really bothers me and upset. Yeah, let me take that back. That upsets me. To know that many of these gangsters got A's in school, showed a lot of potential early. I don't know how many of you keep up with the drill scene. Y'all remember TB from Taekwon World? Terry Berry? The teenager who unalived T. Roy? He was said to be a super genius, more like a nerd. Got nothing but A's in school. The teachers loved him. And he turned out to be a serial killer because of this wretched environment that the Kiesha Collective created. Y'all going to hold this L. You're going to be held responsible for this. Now, these gangsters, I often refer to King Von because he's very well known. And he, the world, he was very violent. He was very mentally challenged. He was a psychopath. He got off on unaliving other black teenagers. He would get on Twitter and brag about it. Ha ha, 6 shots to the face. Ha ha. Yo, you was leaking. Now, it wasn't just him. They all do it. That's part of their gang thing, to mock the dead. So it's a collective, demonic, sick type thing. Tuka, I don't know how many people are aware of this. Tuka was one of the first to diss the dead. And it said that's the reason why he was targeted. He made a rap song. This is extremely demonic. He didn't make a rap song. He shared some of his raps on a tweet. And he mocked the dead in this. It was around 2010 when he made this tweet. And he was targeted after that. It said that he was targeted after that. I'm about to show y'all this tweet. And he was taken out. Here it is right here. When he was 15. Catch him, what is that? Catch him, leave him slump. Now his body just laying. Now they miss you. Just like Mo, fool. His name was Mo. The other kid who was unalive, Lil Mo. I think it was Lil Mo. Just like Mo, fool. Old boo-hoo. He went to school, ooh. He was a good dude. Now he cooked food. And I'm the chef. Yeah, I cook, dude. You see that? December 29, 2010. He was alive. He was unalive like the next month. It was early 2011 when he was unalive. And there's a number of them who was unalive shortly after dissing the dead on Twitter. Okay, now a lot of that speculation, but it's irrefutable that unalivings took place after the release of a diss song. That's irrefutable. Do you know what's even more demonic about this? Another gang member used this tweet in a rap song. And like word for word in a rap song, C-Day. His name was C-Day. He's now in prison serving life. I think he's serving life for unaliving somebody. Demonic. After they killed him, they used his rap lyrics in a song. The song got hundreds of thousands of views. Straight demonic.
So yeah, it turn you up, it give you adrenaline.
Yeah. There you go.
Music is something that, I mean, in the grander scheme of things, you could see it as, you know, a hyper-violent offshoot of trap generally that, you know, sort of like came out of a very specific area.
I describe drill music as, it's violent, but mainly fiction.
Listen to this. Listen.
It's like realistic fiction music. So like, that's why I shot my video 4K.
Realistic fiction music. No, straight up witchcraft. designed to incite violence. Straight up and down. When you start dissing the dead, that's literally what you're dissing the dead for. You're saying to the relatives and the people, the friends of the person unalive, we did it, what you gonna do? Desecrating their graves, basically, verbally, on wax. There's never been a music genre like this. Never. And look at how little attention it gets. But again, what upsets me the most is the fact that they're not born like this. They're not. Okay, nobody's gonna tell me, this is King Von when he was a kid. Nobody can tell me that at this age, you're a psychopath. Did you have the mind of a serial killer? No. And if I'm not mistaken, King Von did pretty well in school, right? This is what really burns me up. These challenged, troubled young boys start off with immense potential to be great at whatever they want to do. And because of horrible parenting, it's over for them before they even get started. And it's hard to fix because of the fact that they've broken the continuity of fatherhoods throughout the generations. They collectively broke lineage chains for the fathers, where nothing get passed to the son. No knowledge of nothing. You know how much you learn from your father? How many things you learn to build, to fix, to repair? How much motivation, knowledge you get from your father? How to carry yourself? How to speak? How to plan, strategize? And you're not getting it from these single mothers. You're setting them up for failure before they even start. That's why I've always said, I'm surprised that black men are not much worse, because other groups around the world did not have this done to them. This did not happen with them. But yet there are so many other groups around the world that are more violent than us. That's because naturally we're not a violent people. That's what really burns me up. We're not. Because all this was done to create violent black men. And it didn't even work as well as they thought it would. They wanted us to surpass Mexico in violence. They wanted us to be as violent as humanly possible so they could fill their prisons. This is common knowledge. This is well-known knowledge now. If they had done this to those groups in Mexico, can you imagine how much more violent they would be? So, Kiesha has to be held accountable for this. These slums is the works of Kiesha. Do y'all know, and this is crazy, O Block is all single black mothers. You know how you see all those black males outside O Block hanging out? Let me show. And it be a whole bunch of dudes. Some of them are grown flipping men. Y'all have seen it. They've made videos, right? Look. They be out there deep. And none of them, ain't none of their names on the lease. There's a quote from King Von. I couldn't find it. I was looking for it. Where he said, there ain't nothing but single mothers out here. If anybody knows the link to that quote, please share it in the chat room. He said it, ain't nothing but, look it up yourself. This is public information. So the collective mentalities you find there is a reflection of the parenting or lack of parenting. Yeah, you got to be held accountable. No more of this sitting back, black men, black men, black men. The ones who you have complaints about, that's your work. That's your work. They knew, the system knew, you're not built like that. You're not built like us. That's why so many of them end up broke and alone later in their years and struggled. Poverty. King Von also associated with poverty. When he said it, he was like, ain't nothing but single mothers out here, poverty. He said it just like that. Single mothers are synonymous with poverty. Duck's mom didn't get a job till she was like well over 20. So wasn't she like in her mid-20s before she got her first job? And she had to get cleaned up before she got that. AC recently made a video where he talked about they're not built to work like us. These Kieshas don't want to accept that that's biological. You got more testosterone, you got more estrogen than testosterone. It's the opposite for us. That's going to produce a totally different human being. Mentally and physically. So when you hear it said that you're not built to operate like a man, that is true on even also a biological level. You're not built to grind like us. You're not. That's why Becky, Maria, all these other women, they know to prioritize a husband at a young age. Not to be out here talking about, I can do it all by myself. And that's just to secure your life. That's not talking about how much that benefits your children. It's crazy, isn't it? How they got sort of convinced, so many of them, to go along with this program. Listen to this.
Gardens.
So what was it like growing up in O Block?
We had to grow up. We had to really grow up and grow up fast. All that little boy shit went out the window. Everybody around this bitch got PTSD. Everybody around this bitch saying somebody die. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we had a brotherhood that can nobody come between. We not letting nothing happen to none of us. Marlo couldn't even beat up OD. We gonna fuck Marlo ass up, boy. You better not put your hands on folks, boy. Folks them pull a pipe out, hold on, boy. And it's the same way. Like, we got each other, boy. On old girl, we ain't got no daddies. On BDN.
Go on, say it again. He talking about all the Parkway. Say it again.
And it's the same way. Like, we got each other, boy. On old girl, we ain't got no daddies.
That's right. From the horse's mouth himself. Them boys ain't got no daddies. And understand, Parkway Gardens was the most dangerous block in Chicago, not because the people who lived in Parkway Gardens was so violent. It was partly because so many other rival gangs would come there to attack them, because it's a gated like apartment complex, which is like, in the gang world is unfair. It's like you looked at it as like a sissy. You hiding behind gates. You're in the gated community. I believe now there's like a security guard in front of Parkway Gardens. Whereas their rival gangs are on blocks. You can just drive up and, spray them down. You can't do that in O Block. So, back when they were teenagers, around 20, 2008, 9, 10, 11, they would walk to Parkway Gardens and fight them. The gangster disciples from 63rd, EBT, as teenagers, they would go up there and have fist fights. Now, the older guys would let them fight. The older BDs in Parkway would just let them fight. They wouldn't jump into it. Well, they was getting owned so much. They was getting beaten up so much. You got to remember, like FBG Duck as a teenager, 17, 18, he was like 6'5", 6'4". He was already a giant, and nobody wanted to fight him. So you had him, you had a bunch of other good fighters. The STL, they get mocked for not unaliving people, for not having that many shooters, that many killers. But they are well known to be fighters. And they wanted to keep fist fighting even after their rivals start using weapons. So anyway, they would go to O Block to fight as teenagers. Well, the older guys, this is crazy. The older guys would start giving the BDs in Parkway, the youngsters, the teenagers, start giving them ratchets. Told them if they come back, start blowing at them. These are teenagers, man. Y'all know FBG Wooski? He got a song called Computers. It's got like over 45 million views. They dropped in like, he caught his first hat at like age 11. There was grown men taking this child at age 11 on drills. And guess what? That's a common thing out there in Chicago. I'm telling you, Chicago is different. It's different. They were not produced by the music. The music came from them. They're the gangsters the music's talking about. This is that Wooski guy. Got shot in the head. Took a headshot when he was in a shootout at a funeral. One of his fellow gang members got unalived, and the rival gang came and shot up the funeral. And he took a headshot. He started at age 11. Do any of you remember your thought process at age 11? Most of you don't remember nothing about nothing when you was age 11. You might remember a few things, but you don't really remember nothing. You can't compare your mind today to how it was when you were 11. So they start off normal human beings and fall into the communities that Kiesha created. And they cannot, it's hard. It's hard to really become a productive black man when you're coming from areas like this. You'll find comment sections of people from these areas. It's like, yeah, I was one of the few who was able to get out of there. But you notice the same pattern all across the United States. Wherever you find concentrations of single Kiesha mothers, you find the worst areas of the city.
On BDN.
What can you tell us about
That is an irrefutable failure that you can't point and blame nobody else for. You want to talk about, oh, it's the music made them violent. You start grooming them on that music when they were infants. And they heard it every day. There was no influence, outside influence that you couldn't control. See, parenting is a big deal. It's a massive responsibility. And I don't think the majority of them understand that. They don't look at it the same way. especially looking at the fact that they're raising boys, knowing that they got a bitterness and hatred against black men. So on top of the jacked up environment, you getting abused. Verbally and physically, you are getting abused. Abuse against black boys runs rampant. Rampant. It's so rampant, it's accepted as the standard way to raise black boys. Right? Knock them through a wall here, knock them through a wall there. Y'all know that, especially in the FBA, when they talk about, oh, you need a father in your life, the only thing they're talking about, you need a father to slap you around. You just need to be beaten by a man. That's what they mean. They are never referring to the guidance that a black father provides. So our image has been like horribly demonized. And Kiesha has been at the forefront and ignoring the fact that they are the ones producing these demonic kids. Black America's been under attack ever since we've been over here. And black men have been talking about this for eons. The attack went from overt and physical to psychological, mental. They stepped their game up. But it's like impossible for Kiesha to identify these traps that's set for us and, create a proper environment to sidestep them. It's impossible for them to do it. Exception's not the rule. You might have an alien here and there, and then can you really credit the mothers? Usually, when I talk to black men, or I see a lot of them leave comments, they'll tell you their success had nothing to do with their mothers. Their mothers had nothing to do with this. They didn't guide them into the profession or whatever that they're in. They don't even know nothing about it. A lot of these successful black men are owner-operators in the construction business, whatnot. Kiesha don't know nothing about that stuff. We had to independently become successful as we are, which is crazy. Can you imagine how much better off we'd be if we wasn't held back like that? No, you got to answer for crimes like this, Kiesha. And there ain't no stopping this narrative. Like I said, this is long overdue. I almost feel like I'm a reincarnation of one of my great-grandfathers or something, because this has been going on forever. I believe black men have always seen that demon inside of them. That anti-black male demon inside. We've been seeing this forever. And you can imagine, way back then, they were probably thinking to themselves, eventually there's going to be conflict. We're going to have to eventually going to have to call them out on this Brad worship, this anti-black male hatred, this disrespect, this refusal to view and treat us like the heads of household, like the leaders. This can't go on we're in that era right now. And this was what's crazy. The vast majority of black men are not built for this. They dare not criticize Kiesha. No. They're coming up telling us to stop. Don't tell the truth about Kiesha. They are the true creations of Kiesha. And it's just crazy. Look at how, on a physical standpoint, how feminized black men have become. Like I said before, wearing purses, tight clothes, wearing weave all in your hair. So now I don't think anybody would deny that even though they're single mothers, they are part to blame for the communities that they've created. And so where's the rest of the blame go? What is the rest of the blame? Because it's hard to say community or environment, because they created it. Your environment, your community ain't nothing but a collective of people. The people make the environment what it is. If it's safe, unsafe, clean or dirty. So you can't say that it's like this because, the environment is such a bad environment. Yes, there's some truth to that, but they created that environment. And generation after generation, they continue to create it. Because they continue to raise boys in this careless, let them be raised by rap music, ratchetness, backwardness. The root of this is the ratchetness in Kiesha. The lack of morals in Kiesha. Self-esteem, work ethic. The hate in Kiesha. For blackness, for black men, that's the source of it. Because mothers, they play a massive role in how the people are. You can't escape that. And this issue took a whole new form when they mocked the death of KSRIP. I believe he understood everything I'm talking about right now and reflected on it at some point. But he had the mindset of trying to help them. I'm going to spend my last years on this earth to help them change how they look at us. Try to increase their value for black men. That's all he was doing. And they mocked him after he died. So it take a real sick demon inside of a people to shake and move like that. Look at how attracted they are to these racist, white supremacist brads. Seem like every one of them they get with, the brad is a racist, turns out to be a racist. Or if not that, then a criminal, Pookie, that they created and raised. What is with this attraction to degeneracy? You have to be rotten at the core. You have to lack value for many positive, constructive things. That's where it starts. And for you to not have any value, for them to not have the value the way that they are, that's the result of a complete lack of self-esteem. You've been completely detached from your history, ancestry, your knowledge of self, your value for self, your everything. You're just a lost vessel out here. Yes. Just out here, yeah, that's the root of it. They're feeling of ugliness. They're feeling of inferiority. That's why it's such a serious thing. When the people feel inferior, they are going to be so dysfunctional. But if it's a mother, if it's a collective of women, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And it's crazy, and it upsets me how they think that, how they minimize their role in how populations turn out. And just want to sit back and say, oh, how people turn out all depends on whether or not the father there. Let's get out of here. All these nonsense excuses they've been throwing out here, these fake attempts to take credit for successful black males who survive the communities they've created, the hate and abuse they've received. Can't tell me nothing. Salute everybody in the building. We'll see you on the next live.